Hello and welcome to this O&DR Modurol video, Jaguar XK8 expansion tank removal. This is video AT02 in our series of videos detailing how we removed and refurbished our automatic transmission or gearbox. Okay, so this is the coolant expansion or filler tank on our Jaguar XK8. It's actually located in the engine bay on the left hand side near the windscreen or the bulkhead. You might need to remove this for any number of things. You might have a leaking tank, need to replace the tank, or have a low coolant level message on your dashboard, and you might want to change the level sensor, which is accessed from underneath the tank. But in our case, we need to remove the tank because we needed to get at the catalytic converter to exhaust manifold bolts, because we need to remove the catalytic converter in order to remove the automatic transmission, and you can get access by removing the tank. Okay, so we're going to split up this video into several sections as per usual. We're looking at the tools we're going to need, the fixing points of the tank to the vehicle, the pipe work that's involved to remove, and the actual removal of the tank itself, which is a very, very easy DIY job. Okay, so first of all, the tools you're going to need. You're going to need some pipe grips or hose clip pliers ideally to remove pipe clips, a flat screwdriver, an 8mm socket and a ratchet, some coolant. The coolant you're going to need is the Ford spec coolant or equivalent. Red long life is the colour, but actually the spec is most important. It's WSS-M97B44-D, so make sure your coolant conforms to that spec, and you're going to need a bucket to catch your coolant. If you want to reinstall all the pipework, you're also going to need some replacement clips. Okay, then section 2, then the fixing points, how the tank's fixed to the vehicle. Looking at the top of the tank, you can see the fixing points. There's one at the bottom there, just basically a hole for a bolt to attach it to the inner wheel arch. And on the right hand side there's two location pins that basically push into rubber grommets. For reference, the tank on my car is an early car. It's got a square tank. Part number for that is MJD4400AB. The later tanks were rectangular, had the same part number, but the A and B are the other way around. It's BA. But for the purpose of this video, it's practically the same. If you want to look at the differences, I've covered the differences in video 153. There'll be a link in the top right hand corner if you're interested in that. Looking at underneath tank, you can see the location pins or spigots a bit clearer. They're quite long and they have a good engagement into those rubber grommets. Thirdly then, the pipe work involved. From the top you can see the three pipes, small diameter pipes that are connected to the top of the tank. In the later cars there was only two pipes. If you look at the top left, on my car there's a pipe to a radiator on the left, but on later cars that went to the thermostat, because the right hand side, well, on my car goes to the thermostat, but later cars it was blanked. Moving around to the right hand side, there's another pipe on its own there, and that goes to the degas tank. It's a hidden expansion tank. This actual small expansion tank isn't really an expansion tank. The cap actually has a valve in it, and when the coolant expands, it allows the excess coolant to go out to that degas tank, and that's where the actual expansion of coolant is held. If you're interested in that, I've done a video of that. I'll show you a link in a moment. Looking at the side of the tank, you can see the main water pump fitting at the bottom there, and that's probably the hardest thing to get off, if you can call it hard. Going back to the hidden expansion tank, as I say, I did a video explaining how that works in as much detail as I could. That tank is actually in your right hand side inner wheel arch. there should be a link in the top right hand corner to the video anyway. Underneath the tank, before we move on, there's actually an electric sensor to the coolant level sensor. That part number is LNA5740AB if you need to replace it. Okay, finally down to the removal of the tank. So from the top, as I say, you can see the bolt fixing and the pipes. The small pipes are really easily accessible from the top. So you need to remove the bolt fixing with your 8mm socket. You can then undo these OEM pipe clips. They're actually, or pipe clamps, they're basically worm drive hose clips, part number JHC501401. In order to do that, you can just flick them loose with the end of your flat screwdriver. It's very, very easy. Then you can push the clamp back down along the pipe, clear of the end, and then it's very easy to pull the pipe off the tank, albeit you might need to lever it off a little bit, but it's fairly easy to get the pipes off. You can also do the same for the other two pipes if you're replacing the tank. In my case, I just wanted to move it out of the way, so those two pipes actually had rubber hose as well connected to it, so I could actually move it off onto the induction manifold. Once you've done that, you can actually move the tank completely forward by basically pulling it forward towards the bonnet, the front of the car, and those location pins on the right disengage. You can see here, this is a photo of it disengaged, and once that's done, you can see underneath the coolant level sensor and the main pipe connection. From the side, it's best to go from the side here to get at that level sensor plug. Now it's held on by a little clip. You can see there in the circle. You need to basically flick that clip off the sensor plug. Now it will fly off into the engine bay, so you need to put a bit of rag underneath to try and catch it. Once that's removed, the plug will very simply pull off. It shouldn't be any resistance, or hardly any resistance at all, to get that plug removed, and took that out of the way safely. Now you need to get out that main hose clamp. You should be able to see that underneath the tank there. In order to do that, you need to compress those two tabs with your hose clamp pliers or pipe grips, and then actually just move that clamp down the pipe to get clear of the tank connection. Now at this point, you want to either drain the coolant if you want to change the coolant at the same time. I'd already changed my coolant previously. The coolant system's about 7 litres, and I speculated that I wasn't going to lose the full amount then if I just took the expansion tank off. So I actually chose to pull the tank off, just pull it off that pipe, and let the excess run out underneath the car. As I moved the tank clear, rested on the inlet manifold, and all the coolant went down onto the catalytic converter and the bits and pieces down. Luckily, there's not a lot of electronic stuff down there. There's only the O2 sensor, and that's quite well insulated. I didn't take it out at this point. I did try and catch the coolant in the bucket. It wasn't wholly successful, as you can see. Lots of bit escape. There's lots of things for the coolant to get caught on as it exits the vehicle or the engine bay, so a bit messy. I did catch about 350 millilitres, so I think there's probably just over a litre lost completely. But once I come to top it up, I'm sure there's not going to be 7 litres worth anyway. So I've got access to my catalytic converter on the left hand side. So next I need to get access to the one on the right hand side, but in this case I need to remove the induction pipe, and that's going to be the subject of the next video in this series. Hopefully you find that video useful if you've got problems with your expansion tank. If you've got any questions, please put it in the comments. Thank you again for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe for more XK8 videos.